Well, guys, I'm back. I've got the motor in the car now. I figured I'd just bring you up to date, show you what I've done so far. Let me get right at it. Last time you saw it in the last video, I pulled the motor out, a second time, and I'd identified all the little quirks that I had to take care of to make this LS1 fit properly in the Chevelle. Let me show you what I've done. Okay, there it is. There's the LS1. It's sitting there in there for the final time. And let me bring you up to date. Last time we talked, I had to raise the motor up. So what I ended up doing, remember, the engine mounts that I had used were this just regular factory engine mounts, and they had fallen apart. So I put them in one time, and the rubber just like pulled off. So I said, to hell with that. I got some energy suspension and engine mounts, and I also picked up an extra plate. So they're 3/16. So I put a 3/16 inch plate up at the top, and then I put a 3/16 plate on the bottom of the perch. So the total increase in the height of this motor is 3/8 of an inch. What I also had to do, though, because when you raise the motor up, it kind of shifts it a little bit, I had to move the entire perch up 1/2 an inch. It was a real bear. But now, I don't know if you can see it, now the steering linkage clears the oil pan, which was the problem. Apparently, everybody's having the same problem. Let me correct a mistake that I made the last time. I had said you can't use the 307 engine mounts, and I thought mine were the big block engine mounts. Well, apparently they're not. They're a little wider than the big blocks. These are what they call the short and wide engine mounts, which were the 307. So this must have been a 307 car. Not a problem. I was under the belief you couldn't do it, but apparently I did it. By shifting the engine mount up 1/2 an inch and putting two 3/8 inch spacers, one on top and one on the bottom, I solved the problem. The motor is in there. Without any further problems. I've got the old wiring harness for the lights just drooped over here. I wanted to just see what I have to strip out of it. I also put the header on. I picked up a set of headers from on eBay, actually. These are hooker headers. They sell for $700. These are brand new, but apparently a speed shop was going out of business, and a liquidator had acquired these headers and another set of headers, and he let me have these headers for $250. It was an incredible deal. I couldn't pass it up. I tried 3 different exhaust manifolds. As you can see, I don't know if you can see this or not, but it's tight. It's tight inside here. I also have to deal with the starter. I don't know if you can see the starter back there. The starter and how close it is to the headers. I'm going to probably have to put a heat shield on it. There's about a 1/2 an inch clearance. If you can see that, I don't know that you can. Let me see if I can get. Yeah, there's about a 1/2 inch clearance. It's hard to tell. Let's see if I can get that thing. Yeah, there's about a 1/2 inch clearance between the header and the starter solenoid, so I'm gonna have to put a heat blanket on that. I'm not happy with that, but hooker header must know what they're talking about. I ended up I'm working on the I don't know if you can see it. I'm working on the son of a bitch. You can't really see it, can you? I'm working on the that's it right there. See that line? That line is the transmission cooling line. It also is going to be close to the headers, but it'll be about an inch, inch and a half away. And what I ended up doing is getting 1998 to 2000 Camaro Z28, cooling lines, and I'm rebending them. Had to rebend them to make them work. I'm still working on that. But I got that. I've cut the hole. That's the hole in the back. That's for the computer wiring harness. That's going to have to. The computer wiring harness is going to sit behind the heater core inside the car. I pulled out the throttle body, mass airflow sensor, and I'm trying to coordinate what I'm going to do next here. That bossing. Remember that boss that we cut off? That it's not a problem anymore. It's been taken care of by grinding it off. Let me show you the inside. I don't know if you can. Oh crap! Let me get a light. I had to modify the what do you call it? Tunnel slightly to fit the motor. Slightly. Depends on what you mean by slightly. It was cutting and welding and all that kind of stuff. But here's what you got, and she's burning pretty good. I ended up building a new tunnel inside the car. I don't know if you can see this. The areas where you grind kind of like come out quicker, clearer on the camera than the rest of it. But to be honest with you, it's in pretty good shape. I still have a little more grinding to do because I was filling holes up. But she's all filled up. Had to modify a little bit of this to give me room because this is where the transmission lines go on the side. But I welded it up in the top here. I had a little piece of metal inside here. Put this whole thing in. It's kind of hard to see, but that's it. I don't know. I think it's acceptable. It's 18 gauge steel, and I had to raise that tunnel up to make it fit. But I gotta admit, by raising it up, it took me 3 minutes to pull the motor and then put the motor back in. 3 minutes to pull it, 3 minutes to put it back in. By myself. So, I don't see how else you could do this. If you don't raise the motor out, if you don't raise the tunnel, it seems to me you'll have to separate the trans from the motor to get it out the way this cross member is. I don't know. I mean, maybe a better mechanic, remember, I'm not a mechanic, I'm an electrician. But maybe a better mechanic could do it. I couldn't do it. But this is a hobby. What the hell? And I wanted to make it so that when if I ever do have to pull the motor out, I don't want to have to dick around with it, I want to be able to, pull it out in one piece without killing myself. I did ping, if you remember correctly, I pointed out to you that on this side of the motor, of the oil pan, right at the back, right at the edge, the oil pan was 1/8 of an inch away from the cross member. So when I pulled the motor out, I heated that up and pinged it with a ball peen hammer, bringing it and indenting the corner of it down a little bit, which gave me a good solid 1/4 of an inch or better. Wow, man, this will actually help me show you. It's a piece of tubing that I've been using to mock things up. But if you take a look right there where I'm pointing, that's where she's pinged. And now there's plenty of room in there. I don't know. I think she looks pretty good. I set the alternator accessory bracket on, put the alternator on it, just trying to hang things so that to see if I have any issues. I might have a little bit of an issue with and I don't think I will, but these are the inlets. This is my pressure, and this is my return on my power steering box. But as you can see, it's right underneath. There's about, I don't know, 3 inches there, not even 3 inches. So I'm gonna have to go back, and then this right here is the power steering pump. Okay, behind this wheel. This is just the end fitting. So it's going to come back into it behind the serpentine belt. I'm still working on it. There's still parts I need to get. Every time I turn around, I learn something else that needs to be purchased. Like the PCV. There is a vacuum harness that has an internal PCV valve for the LS1 motor. I didn't even know that, but I do now. That's another $50. It could be worse, but that's it. I think she's coming along. I think she's going to look really pretty cool. I'm kind of pleased. And once I get the motor, put together here, and I'm ordering the drive shaft today. I found a nice company that does drive shafts. I'll give you the information once it comes in, and once I set the drive shaft, it's gonna be good to go. Maybe I should show you underneath the car. I redid the what do you call it? I redid the transmission cross member, and it looks pretty good. I had to clip off. If you remember correctly, they had 2 barrels on top of the transmission. I cut them off at angles, which gives me, there's not a whole lot of room there. I mean, when you talk about a Chevelle, it sits in there pretty tight. But she's in there. She's in there. There's the linkage. And, I've got it set up where that console, I have to cut a hole right here, right up in here. I don't know if you can see it. Right up in here, and then it goes through that loop that you're seeing, right? And then it'll click onto the shift lever. But I've got it figured out. That shouldn't be a problem. So we're moving along. The Chevelle, it's going to be a happening thing. I got to tell you, it's not. Anyone who says that the Chevelle is an easy conversion, you'd think it would be. It's because it's such a big car. But the way the cross member is set up on it, it's not easy. I think I'd rather do it on a Camaro than I would on this Chevelle. The Chevelle cross member is I'll show you. This cross member is further back. It's a wide cross member, and it's further back towards the firewall. So you only have, I'm going to guess, 14 inches there. Not even. No, 15. 15 from the firewall to the cross member. But for the oil pan, I think you only have about, I'm going to guess now, around 13 inches. It's very close. But I have plenty of room in the back of the heads, the way I have it set up, and I'm really happy about that. I've seen a lot of other LS1s, and they're literally kissing the firewall, and I'm not doing that. Anyway, just thought I'd bring you up to date. I was pulling out the core support bushings. I got the core support sitting over there. I just wanted to see how far, how much work I have to do to get that thing in there. The radiator sitting behind it in the box. And the good thing about it is the more I put it on the car, the more crap comes out of the garage, and gets installed. And that makes me very happy. And once I get this done, I'm going into the hospital for a little bit, and I'll be off my feet for a couple of weeks, and then I'm going to start back on the body. Hopefully the weather will be better. I'll sand the whole thing down, epoxy it, and get it ready for paint. it's been a job. It's been a journey, and you know, I'm seeing light now, and that makes me happy. You know, you know, when you're doing this stuff, you're doing it by yourself, for the most part. So it gets a little, not overwhelming, absorbing. I guess that's a good word. But I got you guys to keep me company, and I appreciate it. Anyway, until I have more, maybe when I get the radiator core support and the radiator in, hooked up, and a little bit further along on the motor, then I'll bring it back. But we're getting close to the wiring harness. You know, I've got the PSI wiring harness. I'll do a separate video on that when I go to install that. It's a beautiful setup. It's sitting over here. I don't know if you can see it, but that's it in the box. You know, got the computer, got the wiring harness, all ready to go. So I can't wait to install that. So, guys, this is just a short video just to bring you up to date. And I'll talk to you later.